What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I uploaded this video and I didn't do my due diligence and check and make sure everything was kosher, and apparently my voice didn't record. I've checked it this time. I've done a couple tests. We're good. So we're going to record this video one more time and hopefully it can be sent out to you guys. But guys, I wanted to do a quick guide on beginner's tips for CBC. That is basically what's going on here because we have another CBC tournament starting here in 14 hours, as well as a few tips specifically for this CBC because of the 7-day login for Ronda that's going on right now. So let's go ahead and go in. We'll dive into some basics understandings for CBC and kind of where you get majority of your points and what to focus on. So first things first is I want you guys to notice that there are both clan rewards and personal rewards. Clan rewards are a accumulation of points for your entire clan. So if your whole clan gets a total of 5.4 million points in tier 6, you will get all of these rewards. Or if your clan gets a total of 600,000 points in tier 1, you will get all of these rewards. The tier that you're in will be decided once the tournament begins. I know that there are some ways to figure it out outside of that, but I don't worry too much about that. I just do the points that I need to get. Second tier is for specific types of events. In this case, this reward that we have coming, or this CVC that we have coming on now, is a personal rewards or a PR CVC. And what that means is you have personal rewards based on the amount of points that you gain yourself in the event. So, for example, if you can get 400,000 points in a tier 6 CVC tournament with personal rewards and your clan wins the CVC, you will get all of these rewards. Same thing for tier 1 up to 100,000, you get all of these rewards. So it's pretty easy, it's pretty basic, understandable, but a lot of people can get that confused. You only get personal rewards in the personal rewards tab if you win the CVC. Alright, pretty basic, but let me just lay that down. Then we have several ways you can get points. There's a few that I want to talk about specifically in champion objectives. With the Ronda login, you are guaranteed on day 7 to get a legendary champion that you have never had. Therefore, you get a free 30,000 points because you get a new legendary champion, or you get a legendary champion and it's new. Therefore, you get 30,000 points, 10,000 here, plus 20,000 here. This can also be added with fragment summons, such as Drexstar or Yannicka, or even Jamarsa, etc., right? Another little pro tip is if you come up to a login champion, you could also get the login champion to show up in your inbox in the event that your champion collection is full. So if I was at 110 out of 110 and I could log in tomorrow and get, Visix, right? I would get Visix into my inbox instead of into my champion collection. So that's another way, and it stays there for 99 days. So there's another way for you to be able to pick up some extra points that you can kind of store for a later if that champion's not going to do anything for you right then and there. So huge points right there. That's the special tip for this CVC or any CVC where there is a login champion going on or a fusion going on where you can pull or fuse the champion during CVC. Huge points. Then we go down, and this is where the next thing comes in, and that is Great Hall bonuses and champion skills. So, champion skill books, epic books, legendary books, they have really no use outside of CVC. Obviously, they're still going to give you the champion skill level improvement, but it's not going to give you any other rewards really in any other events. I know that they've added them sort of to some of the other events, such as like, champion training tournaments. Some of them have books that you can get points for, but really theirs aren't super worth it in my opinion. Obviously, if you're just that little bit away, like in this last tournament, there was a legendary book at 8,000 points, and I was at like 7,800. So I used a few epic books and some rare books in order to get those last 200 points because I was running out of time. So in that case, I mean, it makes sense to get more value for the little bit, right? I used like 1,500 points of books, and I got 3,000 points of books back. So there are some cases where you might want to use them, but typically you want to use your books during CVC because you get both the skill up for the champion. You also get these points, which could lead to more skill ups for champions and a bunch of other free rewards, right? And then we have Great Hall bonuses. Typically, same thing here, right? You don't get extra bonuses from Great Hall outside of CVC. So use your gold medals during CVC because it's nothing crazy. So like unless there's some crazy thing where like you have enough to get this to level 10 and you need that 10 accuracy to hit a breakpoint that's going to make it so you can complete Nightmare Hydra or something crazy, unless there's something time sensitive, use your gold medals during CVC to get extra free rewards. So like you'll see here, I'm going to be probably taking this up to level 5 because I am focusing on building specific champions right now that require void, resist, and accuracy. So I'm probably going to be focusing more in these two bottom ones down here to get just that little bit of extra stats. But I will specifically only use my gold medals during CVC for the extra points. The next thing that I want to talk about is in terms of the gear dungeons, right? So in the gear dungeons, you have all the dungeons that give the same amount of points or similar amount of points. Dragon gives a lot less, actually. But yeah, so Ice Golem, Fire Knight, and Spider all give the same amount of points. However, Ice Golem and Fire Knight take way too long to do. So typically most people will farm Spider 25. You get 300 points per run, and you get a ton of silver for it. It's just ultimately the best option for farming. However, if you don't have a Spider 25 team or a good Spider team in general, and you do have like a Dragon 20 team, obviously you're going to do Dragon, whatever the case may be. But typically you want to focus on doing Spider 25 because you can get very fast runs for the same amount of energy as all the other dungeons while getting the most amount of points. Because a lot of people in the end game have, 10 to 20 second Spider 25 runs, and so because of that, they're able to smash a ton of points in a minute, right? They get 900 points a minute, which is kind of insane, sometimes even more than that, right? So ultimately, Spider is probably the best use of your energy during this in regards to CVC points. The next thing I want to talk about is some of the sort of free rewards that you get for just doing your dailies, right? Faction Wars. Dailies, right? You do your faction wars every day, no matter what. So make sure you're doing them specifically during CVC and try to do the highest stage you can do, which you should, again, already be doing, but definitely make sure you're doing it during these events because you're going to get more free points just for doing them. So there are some days where like I don't have enough time, so I just do my 2 multi-battles, and because of that, sorry, my bad, I had to cough. Because of that, I end up having like 2 extra keys, and I don't have the time to do another run, so I just leave those. But during CVC, I make sure that I do my faction wars, even those 2 keys, because it gives me a bunch of extra points, and that's really, really important. The next thing is Arena. You should be doing this already. Again, this is daily, free points. You should be doing these already. Doing your classic Arena battles as often as you can, refreshing as often as you can, using any extra entrances you have as often as you can during CVC because you get a ton of points. This is gold medals, right? If you're in gold 5, you're getting 5 gold medals, which means you're getting 100 points for 100 CVC points per battle you do. If you do the typical roughly 30 a day that you get, that's a lot of points, right? 100 points times 30, that's 3,000 points every day. That's 6,000 points over a CVC, right? And that's without using any extras, right? That's just with your daily 10 that you have, your recharges throughout the day, and also your free refill that you get from doing your dailies and stuff like that, right? Same thing here with Tag Team Arena. This one's a little bit different because you can actually purchase, entrances up to a certain cap, so it gets more expensive, right? But a lot of people, what they'll do is they will purchase the day before, and then they will purchase the day of, and the second day, and get extra refills. And so you get a ton of points from Tag Team Arena as well, which is the 3v3 mode. Typically, though, I mean, I highly recommend if you're early game or mid game to just do your daily allowance of stuff. Don't spend gems on this unless you can guarantee you're going to get wins. Like if you have a whole row of one-man defenses, cool, you can spend a little bit, get an extra refill, do that whole row. But where I'm at, there's a lot of times where I'm not sure I can actually beat the teams that I'm fighting, and so I kind of run into those issues. Next thing for free points is Demon Lord objectives. This is a pretty basic one that you can actually do today, which is just make sure you get as many chests as you can. So a lot of people will do their Ultra Nightmare, then they'll do their Nightmare, and then they're like, okay, that's all I want. I don't care about the other chests. So in this case, that's not necessarily true. You might want to also, if you have the resources, throw a key into Brutal, or even Hard, you know, I mean, do them all. Do them all if you can do it. If you have the ability to one key Ultra Nightmare, Nightmare, and Brutal, great. Use the extra keys in the other areas, right? Do everything you can, get as many chests as possible, and you should do this on all the days of CBC because you're going to be getting these extra points as you go. Now, also keep in mind, if your clan kills the boss, you get 2 of these chests. So just clearing Ultra Nightmare the day before and the 2 days of, right, I guess it's just the day before and one of the days of, right? You can get 2 of these Transcendent chests. That's 4,000 free points just for doing your clan boss, which again, you're already doing, right? Then we have gear objectives. I personally don't really do a lot of gear objectives because being free to play and not having an insane amount of silver, this becomes very expensive, and artifact enhancement events, in my opinion, are better. However, if you do have some gear that's just sitting at like level 15 or level 11 or, you know, somewhere around that, you could throw a little bit of silver in to get that little bit of extra points. I know a lot of people will do that during CVC when they're doing big pushes. But then we have more free points that you should only do during CVC, and that's in the Forge objectives. There's no event at the moment that gives you rewards for doing Forge. So save all of your Forge resources for CVC and craft them all at that point, because that's where you're going to get a ton of points. Right, crafting a 6-star legendary artifact in the Forge is 500 points. That's pretty crazy. Plus, it's also a good way to make silver. So crafting gear and selling all of the bad gear that you get is pretty good, right? Even if you get like a 4-star, right, that's still 100 points. Or, you know, a 6-star epic, that's 100 points. But maybe it's not good, maybe it's a flat stat, whatever, you can then sell it and make a little bit of your silver back. And then, of course, we have miscellaneous objectives, which is just gems. Don't worry about that too much. But that's kind of the general, the general concept of CVC is basically do your basic daily stuff and then pick an area that you want to focus on during this event. A lot of the times people will recommend focusing on the 2x events, like Ice Golem, for example, is the 2x this time. So maybe focusing on Ice Golem up to the cap of double points is not necessarily a bad idea. This time it's miscellaneous objectives and Ice Golem, so like there's a world where you spend some gems, you do some Ice Golem, you get a lot of points for free that way. Most of the time, though, people are going to do their spider runs, they're going to do their faction wars, they're going to do their demon lord, they're going to do their forge, and that's where most of the points are going to come from. But that's kind of a general basics guide to how to do CVC. One final tip basically also would be to try and get into a clan that has good communication. Whether that communication is via line, via Discord, via whatever, try to have a clan that is doing active communication so that you can actually have people that are going to do CVC and actually participate so you can get those free rewards. But guys, that's going to be it for me today. If you liked the video, please make sure to hit the like button and also make sure to subscribe to the channel to see more, and hopefully we don't have another video where I just don't have sound. But guys, that's it for me today. Have a good one. Peace.